a strong and confident guy who says, "Look, I'm bothered by this. You said you were going to be done with work at such and such time. I was at your house. You weren't there. I don't feel like you're appreciating me as much. How can we fix this?" If you express your feelings and needs and you say, "How can we fix this?" I'm going to stand, I'm going to respect your feelings and needs more. I may not love it. I might get a little defensive at first, but I'm going to remember it later and I'm going to try harder. Same thing with men. When I express my feelings and needs, I know that you care about me and I know that you're in this relationship because you want to be and you love me or you're invested in my happiness. I know you care about me and I know you want to succeed at this relationship. I just feel hurt when you're late coming back from work and we had plans. And because I've been looking forward to it all week, and I don't feel as important to you when you're not, when you put me off or other things take a greater priority. Can we work on this? What can we do to make this better? Um, the first thing that I said was that I know and express that I have faith and trust in him and his goodness and in his intentions and that he cares about me. I said that first. And then I put in my complaint with a request for change. And in that combination, he may not like hearing it at first, but he's going to agree with you. And is he going to feel as defensive when you've right from the start said, "I know you care about me. I know you don't want me to feel this way. I know I am a priority to you, but I'm just not feeling that way right now because you got off work so late and we had plans. Can we fix this?" And he's particularly going to love that you move towards what can we do to fix this? And you didn't labor too much on just criticizing him. It was a quick conversation, positive in the beginning of all the things that you have faith in him about, a very specific complaint about what you didn't like, not "you always do this, you're never on time, you always are late, you never show me I'm a priority." We don't do that. It's simply, it hurt my feelings, it frustrated me, I was sad about blank behavior. What can we do to fix this? You explain the complaint and then you move right towards how can we fix it. That's a winning combination for a guy. He'll sacrifice more. He'll try harder because he wants to please you. Um, Granted, it's hard. It's hard for women to get negative feedback. It's hard for men to get negative feedback, but it goes back to what we talked about earlier of, how do we succeed in making each other happy and meeting each other's needs when we're such different people? And it's because we need to hear from the other person what they're feeling, or we're not going to know how to sacrifice appropriately. And the more we sacrifice, the more deeply we love. And so, okay, I want to point out a couple of other secrets to the female psychology. Women worry, number 14. Women worry they need to know they are not alone in dealing with the problems of the relationship. Number 15. Women who don't trust and respect their men fall out of love, especially if there's no communication. So when we're looking at those two issues, women worry and they'll fall out of love if there's no communication. What I'm saying here is if a woman is not expressing her feelings, needs, and opinions, or if she is expressing her feelings, needs, and opinions, and then you withdraw from her, instead of responding and being emotionally engaged, you shut down and you withdraw. In either scenario, she's not communicating or she is communicating and you withdraw from her when she communicates, she will fall out of love with you. At that point, she will not feel safe and secure. And the longer a woman doesn't feel safe and secure, the more you leave her alone to worry about the problems of the relationship, the more she will fall out of love with you. And she might hang in there for a period of time, hoping that it will get better. But at some point, once this has become chronic and she feels that you are not being responsive and emotionally engaged with her, at some point she will fall out of love with you and she'll either start getting her needs met by someone else. That's not right, right? She should just be loyal, and I agree with that. But the reality is, she needs to see you be emotionally engaged, and she's either going to walk away from the relationship, threaten to break up several times, have several conversations about what you're not doing and what she needs more of. And then if it doesn't change, she's going to walk away or she's going to find it from someone else. And in either one of those situations, the relationship has failed. And I know, guys, that you do not, it matters to you. Relationships are as important as your career, maybe even more important. And at work, you feel like a success at work. And it's hard when you come home to a relationship with your girlfriend and you don't feel like a success when you're with her. But I know you want to feel like a success. I know you want to succeed at this. I know you want to feel like a hero and you want to make her happy and you want to be close with her. You want to feel like a success with her. And so if you will focus on hanging in there, staying engaged in conversations, keeping the conversation, making sure she feels listened to, she feels heard, expressing your feelings and needs. When you said that, it made me feel criticized. Could you say it this way instead? I don't feel like you realize all the things I am doing in the relationship. Push back. Don't disengage. Don't withdraw. Don't just tell her what she wants to hear and then never change. Just escape the conversation and then keep doing what you're doing. Don't do those things. Push back. Express your feelings and needs. Tell her what you need to be different. Tell her how you need to feel that she has faith and trust in your goodness more. Stay emotionally engaged. She will give you more if you will communicate with her. The worst thing you can do is withdraw and leave her alone to worry about the problems of the relationship. If you need a timeout, if things are getting too heated, ask her for a timeout and say, let's just relax and watch a show for the rest of the evening, and let's think about this and let's talk about it tomorrow. I want to think about what you said. I promise I'll bring it up with you tomorrow. Come here, let me hold you, and let's watch a show. Say to her, we'll figure it out. I don't know what we're going to do right now, but I know we're going to figure this out. We can do this. Stay emotionally engaged with her. The best words you'll ever use are those. We'll figure it out. Let me give you an example. My husband and I, he's wonderful at staying emotionally engaged. I love this about him. You need to know that in my family background, one of the greatest pains that I experienced is that my dad has always been more emotionally unavailable and emotionally disengaged. And it didn't matter how much I saw my mom cry, complain. Granted, my mom's nagging and criticism drove us all crazy. And it's one of the reasons why when I became an adult, I was determined not to nag and criticize, but I didn't know what else to do either. So I tended to suffer in silence and not share my feelings and needs. And that didn't work either. So anyway, so granted, my mom's nagging and criticism totally would push my dad away, and it was really hard for any of us to feel like we could please my mom. And no matter what we did, it felt like we couldn't please her, and that's a losing situation for everybody. But my dad, I lived with my parents for 18 years, but my dad has spent the last 27 years of my adult life, I'm 45, still never fully emotionally engaging with me either. And I don't criticize, nag, and complain. I try to express my feelings, needs, and opinions, and he always just withdraws. And I focus in on putting 11 positives into every one negative, and I'm so careful about trying to send warm and loving and faith-based messages. But if I ever get my feelings hurt, if I ever have a feeling or need, his typical response is, it is what it is, it's not going to change. Now, you need to realize that long-term sustained relationships, research shows that the highest correlated attributes of healthy relationships are empathy, the ability to see another person's feelings and needs as valid and important, and that you're invested in their happiness, and then being influenced, the ability to influence and be influenced. Those are the highest correlated traits of a long-term happy, successful relationship. So when I would try to communicate to my dad my feelings and needs, not only would he withdraw, but he would show no willingness to change even some small little behavior. So going from that environment as a child and into my adulthood, when I met my husband, one of the things that I loved the most about him is that no matter what, he would, one, see it from my perspective, even in the smallest area. He would say, well, I can see what you're saying. And he would stay engaged in the conversation. And then in the end, we would come up with some kind of a solution. So here we were. We'd been married, at least 10 years, and we went on a vacation, 2-week long vacation, and we had a wonderful time. It was really very conflict free. The last, couple miles of the vacation, we got into a little conflict as we were driving home, and it was a difference of opinion on something. I can't even remember what it was. And we were putting things away. We have a fifth wheel. We were putting things away, and I was still kind of upset. And I walked outside and I said, "Babe, I just don't know how we're going to solve this one because I know you think you're right, and I know I think I'm right, and I don't see how we're going to solve this one." And he just put his arms out and he motioned for me to come forward. And he said, "Come here." And he put his arms around me and he held me and he said, "We'll figure it out, baby." We never talked about it again. I have no idea what the issue was. It was so fixed. And not because it wasn't an important issue. There are issues that really have to be resolved, and there are issues that probably don't have to. But the fact that he always does that, when I'm upset, he doesn't withdraw from me. He pulls me in and he says, "We'll figure it out." And he says it with authenticity, and we do. We don't solve every problem. The problem isn't the problem. It's how we solve the problems. That's the problem. It's how we address the problem. And so we solve many problems. So the ones that we don't, I don't feel this sense of women worry. They need to know they're not alone in dealing with the problems of the relationship, and they'll fall out of love if they don't trust and respect and if there's no communication. I feel like I worry, and when I worry, I talk with him, and now we worry. We worry together and we do it together. So I still feel that sense of trust and respect in him and his goodness, and there's communication. I don't feel like I'm alone.